What is NomNom? Alright, we are live. Welcome everybody to NomNom Volume 1. Victor Larson here, founder of NomNomverse. I'm here with...
How's it going, guys? I'm Johnny. You might know me as Moldy Potion, a very passionate TCG player, and I am a game designer on NomNom. Very excited to talk about this.
I'm Tessa. Handle is Tessa on YouTube, Instagram, all that good stuff. Also a TCG community member. Met Victor that way, met Johnny the same way. I am kind of an assistant to Victor. I'm around for all the stuff, all the craziness that we're up to. I'm in there in some capacity with everything we do. Very excited to bring this project to you guys and let you know what's going on. I also work as an artist on the project.
So I have brought Johnny and Tessa on as co-founders for the project, and for the last year or so we've been working very passionately on this project. We are developing a trading card role-playing game, which we are building literally from the ground up, from the stories and narrative and the creatures and the characters to the mechanics that will be used in said game. In this episode, we will be going over pretty much a good bit of everything NomNom, kind of fill you guys in on what it's going to be, when you guys can expect release, everything. So while we get started, good starting point is, what is NomNom? Guys, what is NomNom? Can you tell me in 3 easy words?
Dog eat dog? Is that what we're shooting for?
There you go. No, I wasn't expecting that, but touche. The world is chaotic. We like to call it organized chaos. It is a world that exists in the crossroads between universes and dimensions. And it is a hyper-advanced world. It's ancient. It's been around for many millennium. So there are layers to NomNom. It's civilizations built on top of civilizations. So it's reborn again, and it's reborn again into NomNom. And so there's all this ancient technology and artifacts and relics left over from the past, but the world itself is very unforgiving. It's all about survival, and the planet itself almost seems to be alive, and it is fighting tooth and nail with civilization to maintain dominance. And so, like Johnny put, it's dog eat dog, it's eat or be eaten. So since it exists in such a unique part of the cosmos, we have a saying that all doors lead to NomNom. And what we mean by that is there were so many doorways left open from previous times, portals, gateways into different universes and dimensions, that things are constantly coming through these doorways, and it's constantly changing the landscape of NomNom, from its bestiary to its landscapes, and it's forever changing. But we do have a method to all this madness, and we do have very well put together stories we plan to tell. There is a complete narrative for this whole experience, and we are very much excited to begin telling you guys those stories. But we are first and foremost focusing on developing mechanically sound, fun to play, competitive, collectible card game. And I think it's safe to say, and I think I can say this for everybody, that the mechanics we've been putting together are pretty innovative and pretty fun and new. So, like we discussed already, it's going to be a trading card role-playing game. Johnny, can you tell them a little bit about what that means?
Yeah, absolutely. So with NomNom, we wanted to combine familiar elements in a way that feels fresh. So we took a lot of pieces from board games and tabletop RPGs like D&D, things that involve decision making and dice rolling, and we're working those aspects into NomNom, but also trying to keep that collectability of the TCG. So you're going to be chasing certain rares, and there's definitely going to be some really high power cards that are kind of tough to find, because we think that's what's kind of cool about NomNom. There's all these things hidden here. Everything is always, like he said, arriving and crashing into this world and then influencing it and changing it. So with each set that we move forward in this game, you'll watch this world kind of grow and change and develop, and that's part of what we want to do, you know, bringing this game and changing it with every set. But we want to take these elements and combine them in a way that feels, like I said, a little familiar. So you're going to have character cards, and you're going to have Nomster cards that are kind of like your minions and your party. And so your characters will make up a party of 3, and your Nomsters will actually roam around sectors, which are going to be areas that you and your opponent lay down on the board to create a dungeon. And each of you are going to be trying to beat the boss of the opponent's dungeon. So the goal of the game is not to kill the other player, it's actually to slay their boss monster, which we're kind of taking this from the old school, you know, Nintendo games and RPGs, because for me, and I know for Victor and a lot of us, that is a very happy place, very nostalgic place. So we're taking a lot of like stylizing and some feels from those games and trying to bring it to a tabletop board game. So you'll have your party, you'll equip them with artifacts and modifications, or maybe you'll mutate their genetics and actually give them some new genes and abilities. And you'll use all of these powers to reach and conquer the opposing sectors, get to their boss. Whoever beats the boss first wins. That's kind of the rough outline of the game, but there are a lot of cool specifics. And one of the things that I want to point out right away is it's one of the first questions you'll get as a game maker is, how are the resources going to work? You know, are there land cards like in Magic, or aura cards, you know, in MetaZoo? What are these resources? And we aren't actually doing a resource card. We're going to make a token to mark the resources you generate, but you don't need to have a resource card in the deck that you pull out to use. You'll actually be using your characters, your party members, and your Nomsters on the field to generate experience by using their actions. And by generating experience, you'll build up resource to use on other cards. The goal here was so that nobody felt like they had a dead turn. We don't want you to look at your hand and go, well, still no land, can't do anything, past turn. So then that's not at all how this game's going to operate. You will always have options in front of you for what you want to do. And it's really going to be about where you spend your experience points and who you want to level up, for instance, which is
what you want to
in
invest in.
Yep. And so it's going to be very challenging to play 2 games that feel the same, in my opinion. There's going to be a lot of variety in these games with where you spend your XP. And of course, competitive players like myself are going to try to crack this thing, but I'm telling you, there's a lot to crack. There's a lot to work through here. It's pretty exciting.
And to add to that too is, like, one thing I'm really excited about as well is kind of, you know, we're kind of eliminating that meta, you know. It's like, I feel like with this game there is no wrong way to build a deck, you know. And as it stands now, you know, obviously we know how some players' minds work. They like to tweak and, you know, add until it's, you know, just the most dominating thing ever, you know. But we're very interested to see where the meta lands in this, because I don't feel like there will ever be a very dominant meta, you know. It's gonna literally come down to strategy and tactics in a very streamlined fashion, you know. So
yeah, like a game of chess where all the pieces have different moves and effects, that type of thing, you know. It's not going to be the same 2 games in a row. It's all going to depend on the moves your opponent makes and the moves you make. So yeah, I think you guys are really going to love this, and specifically bringing in this dungeon aspect, that you're not just laying cards down on a playmat, you're actually moving through sectors, and the sectors themselves will have buffs and debuffs associated with them. They might boost certain Nomster or character types, or they might give you access to certain effects like getting you extra draws, or maybe forcing discards. There's going to be all kinds of fun effects that these sectors let you access. And so besides just building your deck to have a party and the monsters and Nomsters to defend it, you're actually going to also be considering, man, what rooms do I want in my dungeon? What sectors do I want to force the opponent to move through to get to my boss?
Yep.
And these bosses won't be easy either. We're not making these bosses to go down easy. You might lose a
No.
party trying to take down a boss.
Boss cards are pretty beefy, but also
Yeah.
to add on that, it's not just the sectors. You got to put a lot of thought into what sectors you're playing, but you also got to put a lot of thought. Okay, well, what boss am I going to put into this sector to get the
Right.
most potential out of it? Which nomsters am I going to throw in this deck? And there's hundreds of strategies, I feel like, in this game that can be utilized.
Yeah. And it's going to be a different strategy for players because you're not just trying to kill the opponent or kill their monsters. You're actually trying to get to the boss. And so some people might try to rush the game. They might try to speed right to that boss, but good luck, man.
You can't just turn one, go and try to attack that boss monster because, like, coming from a video game background myself, playing a lot of RPGs growing up, you have to get your resources, you have to get everything together, you have to level up. And if you try to attack that monster first turn, you're going to get absolutely destroyed.
Players are going to have to find the pace and the strategies that work for them. I think some people will be very careful moving through dungeons. Some people, like I know my brother, will probably just go balls to the walls trying to take out my boss turn one,
Yeah, and that's another great thing about it too, is just like, and you've stated this many times already, Johnny, is where are your investments? Are you investing in your party members? Are you investing in your monsters? How are you trying to win this game? Are you trying to take out all the party members? Or are you trying to take out that boss? So you have two routes you can go by, but there has to be at least some sort of balance between the two, because you gotta give them some problems. You gotta start going for that boss monster, but also you gotta protect your boss monster. So it's a lot of decisions, but it's gonna feel like a little adventure each time you play. You're putting together a party of 3, sometimes more. Party members perish, and you gotta find another character to join your party and equip them and make another attempt on that boss monster. So it's going to be a lot of back and forth between both players, but yeah, I'm excited. We've made it so the party member cards will actually, there's a lot of growth they can go through once put into play, between equipping them with artifacts and modifications, enhancing them with mutations, laying out relics on the battlefield to aid you in combat or to help you move through a sector faster, because time is of the essence on any adventure. And not only that, but most characters can level up as well, gaining new stat boost and new abilities that they didn't have when they first started this adventure. So I feel like we've done a great job of cultivating that RPG feeling,
Me too.
while also, bringing in all the elements that make a fun card game a fun card game.
Yeah. I want the play, and I know you do too, we want this to feel pretty intuitive when you're learning it. Yeah, these are new mechanics, it's a unique game, but because of the basis in RPGs and TCGs, these things and mechanics should sound pretty familiar as we explain them. Like, you should already know, if you played any RPG, what a level up is and how that works. You're paying experience points to make something stronger. That's how it works in NomNom too, and a lot of these things are going to feel very familiar. So once you get them explained to you, hopefully once, you're like, cool, that makes sense. We want the game to make sense. We don't want you to have to track a ton of stuff and get confused over turns. We want things to really be fun and exciting. And that's
Streamlined.
what I think we're headed towards.
With anything, there is a learning curve, but I feel like once you have familiarized yourself with the verbiage in the game, and it's not a matter of looking it up each time something happens,
Right.
I feel like you're good to go, and we don't have all that much. We've been very, very adamant about the words we use and how we tell you what cards do, so that there's no confusion. Part of the game is called genetics, and these are familiar to like traits and abilities in other games, but these are things like flying and camouflage. So on a card, when it says generates flying, there's not a whole bunch of text bogging down the gameplay and stuff. It's pretty straightforward. You equip this to something, it gains flying. Oh, well, what does flying do? Oh, it was just one of those few words I had to learn what they do. So
right.
There is a learning
curve. We do plan
but...
to have. We're going to have reference sheets for you guys as well in the booster pack. So the things you do have to learn, you'll have it right there. You won't have to go digging through an online rule book or whatever. You can just boom, there it is. Oh, that's what flying means. Oh, that's what camouflage means.
Yep.
It should be right at your fingertips.
We are focusing on gameplay just as much as we are focusing on the collectability of these. We want to cater to all communities of the TCG community. But one thing we have talked about a bunch, and this is a good transitioning to our next talking point, but we are putting a lot of thought into the production and the presentation of the Kickstarter release and future sets. Really set the tone. We really want to go above and beyond for you guys to create a product that is not only fun to open and play, but like the stuff that it comes in is also fun and desirable, and because we know there's a lot of sealed collectors out there, and now we actually want to cater to everybody, so the sealed collectors included. So we don't want to do just flimsy boxes all the time. We want to do something worth encasing and something worth keeping sealed, but just as fun to look at as the cards. So we are working on some pretty awesome designs in that regard for the pack arts, the box, the booster boxes, the bundle boxes, which kind of leads us into our next topic of discussion, which is the Kickstarter. As many of you guys know, that it's coming in September, and I believe we have a lot of cool ideas in store for that as well. Tessa, would you like to tell them about some of the ideas that we got in store for them?
Absolutely. So yeah, we've been kind of, Victor already said the date of the Kickstarter is going to be September. Before that, we had tons of support, kind of blindly for a long time, knowing that there was something really cool coming, but not exactly knowing what it was. And that alone was really, really cool to see. So thank you guys so much for that.
Yeah.
But we did finally announce the Kickstarter. We did it in a really cool way with a video. Bryce Papenbrook is the voice of Ralph, which is our main protagonist. So if you haven't seen that yet, that's pretty cool. But talking about the Kickstarter itself, yep, there he is. Our boy. Probably the first thing people would want to know is what type of products we'll have in Kickstarter. So obviously we'll have, Victor already kind of touched on it, we'll have booster boxes with super cool packaging, really good quality stuff for those sealed collectors. But we also have bundle boxes, which is kind of like equivalent to an Elite Trainer box from Pokemon. So it'll have everything you need to play the game, some cool
your tokens,
stuff.
Your dice, your game mat, just everything you need to get started.
Yeah, and we'll have
some booster packs.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm not sure how much we're going to tease ahead of time, but the Kickstarter page could be the first time you see any of this stuff completely fleshed out. Who knows?
We do have designs to get sample cards out there. We are going a route that we feel kills two birds with one stone. We plan to do sample test decks. So me and Johnny will be starting a test play within the next week or so. So with that to begin, we will be using proxies, but as we move forward into version 2 test play, we are linking up with some LGSs and content creators that we're friends with and people that support the project. But we'd really like to expand that list, so if any of you guys watching are interested, reach out to us. We'd love to expand our list of people working to see this project to fruition. But I'll let Tessa get back to the Kickstarter. I just want to let you guys all know.
Yeah, like Victor said, if anyone is interested, you can reach out to any three of us and get involved in playtesting and all that good stuff. We'll try to help out as many people as we can.
Mm-hmm. And everybody wants those sample cards too, am I right?
So, first and foremost, we are going to be focusing on the cards and getting those products, making sure they're good to go. And then, dependent on how well the Kickstarter does, we'll have plushies, we'll have pins, figures, binders. There's tons of options that will kind of be dependent on how it goes. We have high hopes. So we've got lots of plans for you guys ahead of time. We're planning for the best. We've got things lined up for you guys.
So you're from Canada though.
Yeah.
So what about the Kickstarter do you think is pretty cool for people that live in Canada and like the UK and Mexico and stuff?
Yeah, it's I think it's something that not a lot of games or startup projects don't really focus on is global distribution and getting the products out to people who wouldn't necessarily have access to them. So again, it will depend on how well the Kickstarter does, but we're really shooting to get it out to Canada. Out to me,
Get it out.
Get it out. Yeah, Canada, Mexico, it goes on. We really want to have a big reach and get it out to people as much as we can.
Yeah, just to add on to that, we feel like, with a lot of these TCGs that have been released in the last few years, they have noticed that, there are TCG communities out there, outside of the United States that, want to be a part of these games but can't. And so our goal during this, as early as the Kickstarter phase, we'd like to get our foot in the door on global distribution. So pretty much every dollar going towards this Kickstarter will go towards the game and increasing the reach that this game will have. And whatever that reach ends up being, we're gonna respond accordingly. So if we have immediate traction outside of the States, then we want to cater to those people. We really are looking for every single opportunity we can to make this whole experience personal in a way, where we're not necessarily going to be asking you guys to come to conventions to be a part of this experience. Like, we very much want to bring the experience to you. We want NomNom to be a world, a project that you can reach out and touch and change, and that is the essence of NomNom to me. Is it's one doorway away. If the traction and hype is there, then we will respond in kind, and we will make sure this game spreads to where it needs to.
And something we've kind of talked about is we really want people to be along for the ride with us. Like, when it comes to distribution for the Kickstarter and everything, we want to get it out to you as soon as we possibly can. We want to maybe even possibly live stream us, packaging your things and sending them out to you, and you can see us actually in motion doing that, and just seeing the care that goes into it, and being a part of it.
Definitely, we've been really hard at work trying to fire on all cylinders. I think we can all agree on that. There's a lot that goes into projects like this, from websites and social medias to research and development. So we hope that all of you guys understand that we are a startup. It's really going to take the community to help push us to those levels and stuff. Obviously, like we stated, you guys have been with us for quite some time now, watching, waiting, and so we really want to deliver at the level that we think all of you guys deserve to be treated. You know, you guys spend your hard-earned money on, you know, these projects and Kickstarters, and you know, I'm sure, you know, that I think everybody's had a bad Kickstarter experience, and one thing that we are striving to do with this project is we want to jump through all the proper hoops, and we want to challenge ourselves to deliver all of you the best product we can, down to every minute detail. You know, that doesn't stop at the end of the Kickstarter once we have raised the funds. It will go above and beyond. You know, like, we are trying to create a world that, you know, can stand the test of time. Just know that everything will go back into the project, and all these startups and stuff have these crazy rollout plans, and you know, one thing, you know, we have a rollout plan. I think we have a really great rollout plan, but it was very crucial to all of us that we focus on one thing at a time, and right now our focus is in developing a one-of-a-kind, innovative, new tabletop gaming experience. So
we do have this, you know, this big roadmap. I mean, I can't even see the end of it, to be honest with you, but we don't want to overpromise things too quickly. We just
and underdeliver.
Exactly. I think is really, really important to a lot of people. And yeah, I think if we focus all we can onto making the best game we possibly can, and for the foreseeable future doing that, then we're going to have a great game.
Yeah, man. It's like, to reiterate what Vic said, it's really important to us that you guys know that what you're putting into this project is going into this project. And what we mean by that is into this game. And we're going to make the best possible game we can, because we do want to do more stuff. We would love to start talking to you about the graphic novels that we've been planning out and all the stuff that is going to fill in this world of NomNom in the future for you. But we really want to stay focused on the game, because like you said, some of these roadmaps get crazy, and I think when some of these companies see how much money they've been able to raise, they're like, oh my gosh, well, we're set. We're making a video game. We're making a movie. Like, you know, it's too much, because then they leave behind the game that they actually created. You know, they start focusing on all these other things, and the actual game itself is kind of left wanting. And so we want to make sure we fill that in, and that game feels so good that by the time we start moving into other products, you're so in love with the game that you're so ready to just move into whatever else we're handing you.
We strive to be more than just a product that we would shove down your guys' throats. We wanted to be a world that you guys wanted to be a part of, you know, an experience that is new but feels familiar, you know.
And like Vic said, where you can touch us and reach out and talk to us, you know, and like we're the ones making this game, but we want to hear all the feedback we can get. That's the goal. We want to make the best game possible. That's why we're looking for playtesters and asking for people to join up. We've already got a pretty decent team of playtesters who are ready to jump in for us, but we want more opinions. We want more people, because that's only going to help us build a better game, in our opinion.
If this is going to be community funded, then we want that community to have more than just product in their hands.
And we want them to have a voice too. Like, if something doesn't feel right, then we want to make it right eventually, you know, and listen to what people
mean, I think I can just go ahead and say there are some cards in this set that are directly influenced from the art of some of our supporters and people who sent in designs to your NomNom art contest. I'm not going to say who, but straight up, these things are in the set, cards that you guys designed and that Victor ran with.
Yep, and to all the contest winners, believe me when I say, like, you know, they haven't been posted yet, but they're coming. And it's something we're going to continue to do through many forms of, competitions, whether it's through writing, fan fiction, fan art. Pretty much, you know, like I said, this is a place we want you guys to feel like you can reach out and change, and there's gravity to it, you know.
There's so many opportunities. There's, like, even music. Like, if you feel there's some kind of feeling that the world gives you and you want to add a sound to it, like there's room for that too. Like there's just so much possibility.
If you're a creator and NomNom is inspiring you, like, let us know. Like, we want to see what you guys come up with, you know. We want to work with you guys. A little off topic of NomNom, but my studio that I'm currently in, Senpai Studio, my main goal with this place was to have a playground for creativity, and, you know, where there are no wrong ideas. It's just ideas you haven't got to try yet. So, you know, like, I remember being a kid and seeing, you know, fan art competitions for like Toonami and stuff, you know, and just being a kid, just like, oh man, if I win, you know, my character is like gonna be, you know, on the show and stuff, you know, like I'd like to really captivate that feeling with things we do, you know. And beyond that too, we have sets planned up to expand into different art styles where, you know, some of people's favorite artists, if we can hire them, but, like, you know, artists that don't necessarily have to have, you know, the same style as me, you know, like sets done by like other very popular artists for the set. Who knows who might appear in those sets, but we plan to do other fun collective sets as well, you know. There's just so much real estate in NomNom that even if we continue to grow and NomNom grows into this huge thing and we hire a whole team of artists and writers and stuff, and, you know, we're developing video games and animations and stuff like that, even if we get to that point for the next 20 years, I feel like that will barely scratch the surface of NomNom and what NomNom will have to offer. Anybody can write a story in NomNom. You know, you want to write a gunslinger western story, you can. Like, that exists. That's in NomNom. You want to write a Knight's Tale, a romance, a horror, you know, all of those things exist within this world, you know. If you can think it, NomNom probably already has it.
Yep.
Or it just took you to add it.
Yeah, and I think when you guys start to feel that, when you start to step into NomNom and kind of feel the temperature of the environment, it's nice. It's nice here. There's a lot of room for creativity. There's a lot of room for growth, and genuinely, I cannot wait to show this game to you guys. I think it's going to blow some minds.
Like I stated, organized chaos, you know. I think we have the right team, and you know, we're kind of operating on a way that, like, we can roll with the punches and, you know, still keep it cohesive, you know, because I feel like that might be a person's first thought, you know. If they were to step into NomNom, it's got a real Land of the Lost type feel to it, you know. It's just things that look like from all periods of time, you know, buried in the sands or overgrown in the jungles, and it's really just waiting for us to uncover it. One other thing I'd like to get into before we wrap this up is some people have been investing in the whole NomNom idea and project very early, and they may have their hands on some art cards and some exclusive prints, and they were told at one point in time that they would be rewarded. That hasn't changed. We still have every intention to reward you guys. So pretty much what we plan to do is, if you are a lucky owner of one of these said items, then they will be redeemable pretty much post Kickstarter at both events and through our website. You will get an actual playable promo card that corresponds with the art cards and the prints that we have done. So pretty much, not only do you guys get to keep the original collectible, but you also get this pretty rare promo card on top of it. And these cards will only be made to correspond with their counterparts. So If you have a Spookala Gravekeeper, for instance, he is serialized at 333, so there's only going to be 333 of those cards. Obviously, if you got the lower count serialization, those cards are going to be even rarer, but still, these promo cards are easily going to be some of our most desirable cards printed at the very beginning. So if you haven't got your hands on one yet, I know there's some collectors out there that have been patiently waiting, holding on to all of it. So to those guys, I congratulate you, because you guys will be sitting pretty when NomNom blows up and takes over. But yeah, so all of you guys will be rewarded, and so we just ask for your patience for just a little while longer. Like I said, this will most likely happen post Kickstarter. Pretty much gonna be hooking you guys up. The transactions will most likely happen at conventions where we can see in person, and then we are also developing an online application of sorts where we set up a way where you can prove ownership over said collectible. Because if you have 231 out of 333 Gravekeeper, then that's the exact serialization you're going to get with the actual playable card. So one thing we do want to avoid is people just finding pictures online and sending them in to us claiming that they're an owner, but they're not really an owner, because that just makes it so the person that actually does own it can't get their redeemable. So we're gonna try to do our best, our due diligence on that to reward you guys, but just know that you guys are being thought about and taken into consideration as we move forward.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, those are going to be probably some of the lowest print run cards we ever do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are going to be very exclusive and never made again, and only made to correspond with their serial number.
Yep.
The serial number that the owner has. Yeah, I'd be excited. I think that's an awesome way to pay these people back.
Yeah, and I'm honestly excited to get to redraw these characters and stuff and put them on cards, and see the look on your guys' faces when you finally get them in your hands.
Speaking of exclusive stuff, a question I think we had during our live stream was if people wanted to get their hands on some original artist sketch cards. What's the way to do that?
Yeah, so as we ramp up to the Kickstarter, we know some of you guys are waiting to get your hands on some NomNom product, and we are working out some ideas of things to do in that regard. We are actually thinking about doing an exclusive plushie run each month. So every week at the beginning of every month, we'll open up a small window where you guys order these plushies. They get made for you, so there's never no more than what is ordered. And we will release a new plushie of a character or a nomster or a kaiju each month. So we think that's going to be fun for you guys to collect. We are also doing, some of you are all about the art when it comes to TCGs, and as an artist, you guys are much appreciated. We also want to cater to you guys too. Nothing cooler than getting your hands on original artwork from a game you guys really like. Well, we want to be no different. We want to do official NomNom sketch cards. They will be distributed amongst the NomNom artists, including myself. And these NomNom original sketch cards are gonna predate the Kickstarter set. So we want to make these super desirable and super collectible, and we want each person that owns one to feel like they really have something grand, and it will be, because the way we plan on doing these sketch cards is not only will they be serialized, but they will also have a spot to be signed by said artists, and we will be giving away a certificate of authenticity to go with the card. So hopefully 10 years down the line, when we're looking back on these sketch cards, they're going to hold a huge importance within the history of this project. And so we want to make that whole experience special. And we plan on distributing these sketch cards in fun and exclusive ways. We're not trying to make it gimmicky. We're just trying to create something special, for the people that will obtain these sketch cards. So all the more reason to get in our Discord, follow us on Instagram, because we'll be doing weekly live streams. We're actually re-recording this as my audio was messed up for our live stream, so this is pretty much addressing everything from that stream. So if you missed that, thanks for tuning in. We will be doing weekly live streams unless specified otherwise, all the way up until the Kickstarter and probably after. So probably just become a normal weekly ritual where you guys can join us, where we talk NomNom. We disclose some sneak peeks and information you may not find other places. So be sure to follow us on Discord and tune into those live streams. But if you can't tune in and you do miss them, we will be posting them the following week on our YouTube, which will launch with this video. So like I said, welcome to the very first episode. It's going to be interesting to watch this and then episode like 300. It's just like...
And we will pay attention to, comments and things like that with the video, asking specific questions. We'll try to cover those in the following, or whenever we can, we'll try to address those questions.
Yep.
Also, I just have to say this because it gets me so pumped. When you're talking about sketch cards, we're talking about NomNom sketch cards. We're talking about sketch cards with dinos on them, with kaiju on them, with these incredible ancient devices and characters. I mean, you guys don't even know what we got coming. It's so good. I can't wait for you to see some more of these spoilers and art.
Yeah, and the team is honestly filled with a bunch of talented artists. So
seriously,
Tessa's even going to be getting her hands on some of these sketch cards, and Donnie, Drontworks. We got Emily Nancy, Kyle Cup, all very talented artists. Even Johnny's going to break away from the writing for a while, I guess.
I'll take small breaks.
If you guys are interested in the project, follow us at our social medias. You can find us at The World of NomNom on all platforms. Go leave us a follow. We're just ramping up more and more to the Kickstarter, so there's going to be more and more stuff happening here in the short future. So Discord always hears stuff first. NomNom Discord is for our main community, and if you want early sneak peeks at pretty much anything we post, it will most likely be posted in Discord first. So
you can connect to that through the Instagram, right? Discord links are on the Instagram.
You can go through our link tree on our Instagram and get to it. And then within the next couple weeks, we will be launching our website, which will be kind of, a good way to just kind of keep track of what we're doing and possibly get your hands on some early NomNom product. We do plan to do the plushies, the sketch cards, yes, but we also think some of our characters and stuff would look pretty dope on some t-shirts and stuff. So we'll have some clothing. And then as we progress forward too, we'd love to hear more of what you guys think we should do. Like we stated, we're focusing on the game first, first and foremost. But as we develop more and more and we get bigger and bigger, you guys are ready for those stories, you guys are ready for those graphic novels, we can open up the next, door. Like I said, we'll respond in kind, so whatever happens, we will, pretty much do our best to deliver. With that being said, that's pretty much all we wanted to cover in episode 1. We are looking forward to the Kickstarter in September. If you guys do have any questions or anything or ideas, reach out to us. And with that being said, thanks for tuning in, guys, and are you ready? Press start.